Good day, sir. We are Group 7 from the SIT 3E. And the assigned OS that we will report at is Ubuntu. And my name is Rachelle Abuel, the leader of this group. And here's my co-members. The first one is Gardiola, Cedric. The second is Santa Maria David. The third is Canoy, Charlene. The fourth and lastly is Galit. And I am the one who will report the history of Ubuntu. And the OS version, the third is OS features, the fourth is the differences in other OS, and the last and the fifth is the installation of demo of Ubuntu. And now, I will discuss the history of Ubuntu. So, let's start. Ubuntu is Zulu, an Asian African word meaning humanity to others, and translated into I am what I am because of who we all are. So in the country of Africa, there is called philosophy of Ubuntu, which is before you do something, you must consider people in your surrounding before yourself, and that's we call humanity. And also, you should be help each other in order for you to grow and to grow as one. And that is the philosophy of Ubuntu. And according to them, how can you be happy if others is sad? So that is one also the philosophy. Ubuntu is from Libra, a Linux distro, or also known as Linux distribution, created by Libra and Ian. And the next page, you can see the two OS. In the right side is Debian, that created by Libra and Ian, and the left is the Ubuntu na nanggaling kay Debian. So the history of Debian is not user friendly. Many user I use this OS, but when it comes to updating the features or etc., pagdating doon is low sila. That's why they did not reach the satisfaction of many users. That's why the user decided to use another OS. That's why ang Debian is hindi na siya ginagamit during that time. That's why someone make OS updating and user-friendly, which is the Ubuntu. And now we are in 6 slides of history of Ubuntu. And now I will introduce to you the someone who make a user-friendly OS, and his name is Mark Shuttleworth, a South African man. Before that, nung nalaman niya na ang Debian is hindi na masyadong ginagamit ng tao, that's why he decided to make a plan, and he decided to sell his company worth of 500 million to start again to making another OS that will user-friendly and that will benefit to all users, and that will give satisfaction to all users. The next slide is the Ubuntu OS is sponsored by Canonical company that will sponsor for the development of the latest version of Ubuntu. For the next slide, you can see the design of Ubuntu. Since the Ubuntu is first launched for public was October 20, 2004. So as you can see in the PowerPoint, there is 2004, the first launch, and next is 2010, and the next is 2022. Lastly, as you can see here in the picture, first, as you can see, there is a circle. That's we call the circle of friend that symbolizes the freedom, collaboration, precision, and reliability. So the Ubuntu is kilala talaga siyang OS, and sa mga rank sa mga OS, nangunguna si Ubuntu. So here's my report about the history of Ubuntu. Thank you.
Good day, my name is David Alexander Marvis, ID 3E. The Ubuntu OS version. Ubuntu releases are made semi-annually by Canonical Ltd, the developers of the Ubuntu operating system, using the year and month of the release as a version number. In this table, there are 38 versions, including the future version that will release in April this year, and the table shows their codename, standard support until desktop and servers, the extended security maintenance until, and the initial kernel version. Then about the colors, the pink is old version, the red is old version, still maintained, and green is latest version, and yellow is latest preview version, and in the blue is the future release. Then the Ubuntu 4.10 Warthog was offered as a free download, and through canonical shipped service was also mailed to user free of charge in CD format. Then next is Ubuntu 5.04 Hori Hedgehog. Added many new features including an update manager, upgrade and fire with a head, and grip map, suspend, hibernate, and standby support, dynamic frequency scaling for processor, Ubuntu hardware database, quick start installation, and APT authentication. Ubuntu 5.04 was the first version that allowed installation from USB devices, beginning with Ubuntu 5.04 UTF-8 became the default character encoding. Then next is Ubuntu 5.10 Busy Badger. Added several new features including a graphical bootloader, an add remove application tool, a menu editor, the La Carte, an easy language selector, logical volume management support, full Hewlett Packard printer support, OEM installer support, and new Ubuntu logo in the top left, and the Launchpad integration for bug reporting and software development. The next is Ubuntu 6.06 LTS Dapper Drake is the code name. Included several new features including having live CD and installed CD merged into one disk, a graphical installer on live CD, ubiquity, splash on shutdown, as well as start up a new network manager for easy switching of multiple wired and wireless connection. Human Look them implemented using Tango guidelines based on Clearbox and featuring orange colors instead of brown, and GDB graphical installer for package files. Ubuntu 6.06 did not include means to install from USB device, but did for the first time allow installation directly onto removable USB devices. The next is Ubuntu 6.10 EGFT. Added several new features including a heavily modified human theme, upstart init daemon, automated crash report, the afford, Tomboy note-taking application, and F-Spot photo manager. Easy Ubuntu, a third-party program designed to make Ubuntu easier to use, was included in Ubuntu 6.10 as a meta package. The next is Ubuntu 7.04. Facey Fun included several new features, among them a migration assistant to help former Microsoft Windows user transition to Ubuntu, support for kernel-based virtual machine, assisted codec and restricted drivers installation including Adobe Flash, Java and P3 support, easier installation of NVIDIA and ATI drivers, Compiz desktop effects support for Wi-Fi protected access, the addition of Sudoku and chess at this usage analyzer, Baobab and Genome Control Center, and server count support for many devices. The next is Ubuntu 7.10 Gatsy Gibbon. Included several new features, among them App Armor Security Framework, Fast Desktop Search, a Firefox Plugin Manager, Ubuntu, a graphical configuration tool for X.org, full NTFS support, read and write via NTFS RG, and revamp printing system with PDF printing by default. Compass Fusion was enabled as default in Ubuntu 7.10, and fast user switching was added. The next is Ubuntu 8.04 LTS Hardy Heron. Included several new features, among them tracker desktop search integration, Rachelle disk burner transmission with torrent client, video USB and C client, system sound through port edition and Active Directory authentication and login using likewise open. In addition, Ubuntu 8.04 included new updates for better Tango compliance, various Compass usability improvement, automatic grabbing and releasing of a mouse cursor when running on VMware virtual machine, and an easier method to remove Ubuntu. Ubuntu 8.04 was the first version of Ubuntu to include the Woobi installer on the live CD that allowed Ubuntu to be installed as a single file on a Windows hard drive without the need to repartition the disk. The first version of the Ubuntu Netbook Remix was also introduced. Ubuntu 8.10 Intrepid iVex. The default wallpaper depicts an iVex with its large curved horns. Ubuntu 8.10 introduced several new features, including improvement to mobile computing and desktop scalability, increased flexibility for the internet connectivity, and Ubuntu Live USB Creator and Guest Count, which allowed others to use a computer, allowing very limited user rights. Example, accessing the internet using software and checking an email. The guest account had its own home folder and nothing done. It was stored permanently on the computer hard disk. Intrepid iVex also included an encrypted private directory for user, the inclusion of dynamic kernel module support, a tool that allows kernel drivers to be automatically rebuilt when new kernels are released, and support for creating USB flash drive images. The next is Ubuntu 9.04 Yongji Jakalupe. The new feature included a faster boot time and integration of web services and application into the desktop interface. Because of that, they named it after the mythical Jakalupe. It was the first release named after the mythical animal, the second being Utopic Unicorn. It had a new splash screen, a new login screen, and also support for the both Wacom, the hot plugin, and netbooks. It also included a new notification system, Notify OSD, and DEMS. It marked the first time that all of Ubuntu core development moved to the GNU Bazaar distributed version control system. Ubuntu 9.04 was the first version to support the ARM architecture, with a native support for ARM v5EL and ARM v6EL BFP. Then the next one is Ubuntu 9.10 Karmic Koala. This initial announcement of version 9.10 indicated that this release might include a new theme, but the project was delayed to version 10.04, and only minor revisions were made to the default theme. Other graphical improvements included a new set of boot app and shutdown splash screen, a new login screen that transitions seamlessly into the desktop, and greatly improved performance on Intel graphic chipsets. Then next is Ubuntu 10.04 LTS Lucid Links. Ubuntu 10.04 follow seedlings, the new style in Ubuntu is inspired by the idea of light. Then next one is Ubuntu 10.10. The codename is Maverick Mercat. The new feature included a new Unity interface for the Netbook edition, a new default photo manager, Shotwell replacing FSpot, the ability to purchase application in the software center, and an official Ubuntu font used by default. Then next is Ubuntu 11.04 Natty Narwhal. Using Unity, Ubuntu aims to be novice friendly, but this release is buggy and I think they missed the mark this time around. I'm limiting my recommendation of 11.04 to people who want to play with an early release of Unity. The next is Ubuntu 11.10 Oneric Ocelot. Final release is 13 October 2011, running Unity 4.22.0. Oneric means dreamy. The next is Ubuntu 12.04 LTS Precise Pangolin. Changes in this release include a much faster startup time for the Ubuntu Software Center and refinement to Unity. This release also switched the default media player from Banshee back to Rhythm Box and dropped the trombone note-taking application and supporting Mono framework as well. And also the Windows Dash feature has been removed from the Unity launcher starting with Ubuntu 12.04. Ubuntu 12.04 incorporated a new head-up display HUD feature that allow hotkey searching for application menu item from the keyboard without needing the mouse. The next one is the Ubuntu 12.10 Quetzal. Shuttleworth indicated that it will include a refresh look with work to be done on typography and iconography. The next one is Ubuntu 13.04 Wearing Wingtail. Found on Ubuntu 13.04, the slightly disappointing upgrade. While there are definitely some enhancements in this release, there are also nothing very special about it. The next is the Ubuntu 13.10 Salamander. Consideration was given to the change into the default browser from the Mozilla Firefox to Chromium, but the problem with timely updates to Ubuntu Chromium package caused developers to retain Firefox for this release. Ubuntu 4.04 LTS version, the codename is Trusty Tar, include the ability to turn off the global menu system and use the locally integrated menus instead of the individual applications. The next is Ubuntu 4.10 Utopic Unicorn. This version is the 21st release. Ubuntu 4.10 was officially characterized as a release that addressed bug fixes and incremental quality improvement, and so it incorporated very few new features. The next is Ubuntu 15.04 Vivid Verbet. Use a system instead of Upstart by default. This release also features locally integrated menus by default, replacing the previous default global menus. The next one is Ubuntu 15.10 Woolly Werewolf. Eliminated the disappearing Windows Edge scroll bars in favor of the upstream Genome scroll bars. A move designed to save developers time in creating patches and updates. The next one is Ubuntu 6.04 LTS version. The codename is Sentinel Cerus. The default desktop environment continued to be Unity 7 with an option for Unity 8 in May 2015. Shuttleworth indicated that Ubuntu 16.04 LTS would include the Unity 8 and mere, but that users have choice of that or Unity 7 or and x.org. The next one is Ubuntu 16.10 Yakety Yak. This release features a maintenance version of Unity 7 but offers Unity 8 packages included in the ISO so that the user can test them. Other improvements include a new version of Ubuntu software that supports faster loading, better support of installing command line only non-GUI application, support for installing font and multimedia codecs, and introduction of paid application. Then the next one is Ubuntu 17.04 Sesti Sapus. This release dropped support for the 32-bit PowerPC architectures following the same move by the upstream Debian project. Ubuntu 17.10 Artful Artbark. This was the first release of Ubuntu to use the GNOME Shell interface and replace X11 with the Wayland display server. In May 2017, Ken Van Dyne, a canonical software engineer on the Ubuntu desktop team tasked with the Switch GNOME, confirmed the intention to ship the most current version of GNOME with very few changes from the stock installation. The next one is 18.04 LTS Bionic V4. Ubuntu 18.04 is mostly an incremented upgrade over Ubuntu 17.10 with updated packages. Ubuntu 18.04 LTS server version, the newly developed text-based installer, is an improvement over previous installers. The next is Ubuntu 18.10 Cosmic Cuttlefish. The Ubuntu 18.10 installation includes a new theme named Yaru, and the new icon theme is Suru. Installation speeds are faster due to the lossless compression algorithm known as C standard. Startup speed of pre-installed Snap application will also improve. Ubuntu 18.10 Cosmic Cuttlefish is a modest update compared to 18.04. The next is Ubuntu 19.04 Disco Dingo. Ubuntu 19.04 uses GNOME Shell Desktop 3.32, which include a new icon set, increased performance, smoother animation, nightlight intensity control, and advanced application permissions. The next is 19.10. The nickname is Ewan Ermin. The Ubuntu 19.10, it adds the ability to group application icon into folders, introduces a background setting panel, and separate nightlight tab, as well as improves font performance and smoothness. A new Yaru Light theme was introduced with this release as well. Ubuntu 19.10 is quite possibly the best release of Ubuntu Canonical has ever delivered. It's well worth upgrading if you are already an Ubuntu user, and it's well worth trying even if you are not. Then Ubuntu 20.04 LTS, the nickname is Vocal Fossa. There are a number of iterative improvement, usability, and user interface refinement, and some much needed updates spread throughout the whole of the system. The Ubuntu 20.10 Groovy Gorilla. This is not biggest of Ubuntu release but keeps the momentum going for canonical distribution, which is popular for several use on public cloud and becoming more polished for desktop user too. Ubuntu 21.04 Hirsute Hippo. These features a striking new dark theme and make a wrap of smaller UI tweaks that add up to an impressive polished wall. There are also a new installer feature, a new desktop icon experience, and of course a new wallpaper. And the next one is 21.10, Impish Injury, introducing a horizontal workspace switcher and an improved activities overview design. The next is Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. The code name is Jammy Jellyfish. This release offers user two Yaru themes, light and dark, but with a choice of 10 different accent colors for customization. Ubuntu 22.04 is clear sign Canonical is much more interested in publishing release on a set schedule than producing something worthwhile. Finally, the Ubuntu 22.10, the latest version. The code name is Kinetic Kudu. Its interim release was made on October 20, 2022. Then Ubuntu 23.04 is the future release. Then the code name is Lunar Lobsters. Ubuntu is an interim release scheduled in April 20, 2023. Then the version and the type. After each version of Ubuntu has reached its end of lifetime, its repositories are removed from the main Ubuntu servers and consequently the mirrors. Older version of Ubuntu repositories and release can be found on the old Ubuntu releases website. And that's all.
Hey sir, my name is Charlene P. Canoy from BSIT3. Based on what I've researched about British company Canonical, the company provides software platform that powers desktop, laptops, netbooks, and servers, as well as offers custom engineering, support contacts, and training services. On Ubuntu source model, it modifies and authorizes the user whenever they want and depend on them to make or disseminate many copies. Open source. This source usually used in public and it is available for those who want in open collaboration. This source code is also accessible for any usage since that is open source means anyone can access. 2 GHz dual core processor. Its usually usage of this will be faster than the current models and more efficient is processing tasks on the phone. The 4 GB system memory. It is used to run enough few lightweight programs at a time, like for example, do basic image or video editing, stream music, or doing video online. DVD and USB is useful for storing datas and DVD to hold an information in the computer. When it comes having a storing an information, you need to be secure and very correct and complete to avoid any overcome. Ubuntu architectures contains the designs, principles, packages, archive, installation, and system boot. All of these commitments have an effect on its overall architecture. This page sketches the main architectural features of Ubuntu in order that ongoing development work can be designed in consistent and elegant fashion. The platforms of Ubuntu will be the Ubuntu Desktop, Ubuntu Server, Ubuntu Cloud, Ubuntu Core, and Core ARM. This is all platforms are the most widely used for powering and transitional operating system for highly secure connected devices.
My name is Galit from BSIT3E. Ubuntu versus Windows. more secure and faster is used by the developer and top tester community. Ubuntu is not easy to learn and we start with the compare window. It's mainly work with command. It has no visual assistant like Windows. It's the certainly like the Windows operating system. Linux OS based on Unix it is built on the Linux kernel. The common of use Linux is in personal computer, desktop game development, embedded system, smartphone, tablet, and many more. Linux is a free and open source. Any user with programming knowledge can modify it. Enables the user to run the program, change the code, and to distribute the modified copies. Ubuntu is a popular operating system for flat computer with support to OpenStack. Ubuntu default desktop change back from the in-house Unity to GNOMA after nearly 65 years upon the release of version. Ubuntu versus Mac. Ubuntu has better privacy than Mac OS. As an source operating system, Mac OS is slightly better in resources, efficiency, and stability because it has hardware. Mac OS is specially designed to be compatible with it.
Good day, I'm Cedric Gardiola and I'm the one who's assigned to demonstrate the installation of Ubuntu in VirtualBox. So first, we need to download the ISO file of Ubuntu. So in Google, just type Ubuntu. Then this link will show up. Just click this link. This is the official website of Ubuntu. Then download. Then the Ubuntu desktop, it's the one that we will download, so just click the 22.04 LTS. Then now the downloads will start, so it might take a while, so I download the ISO file in advance, so I'll cancel this one. So this is the ISO file of Ubuntu. This one. So now after having the ISO file, we need to create a new virtual machine. So in VirtualBox, you need to click the new button, then type the name. I'll name it Ubuntu. The type of OS, Ubuntu is under Linux, so just Linux, and version is Ubuntu. Then click next. Now we will assign the RAM or the base memory. I'll assign it as 2 GB and the processor as 1 CPU. Then click next. Now for the virtual hard disk or the disk size, I'll assign it 9.76 GB because it is enough to download the Ubuntu. Then click next. This is the summary. Then click finish. Now we have the virtual machine where we will install the Ubuntu. So click the virtual machine that we created, then click start. Now this is the interface of the virtual machine. So here we need to locate the ISO file. So we need to select the ISO file, then click open, then mount and retry boot. Click the mount and retry boot. Now we need to choose the try or install Ubuntu. Just click enter. After the login list will show up, here you'll select your language. I'll select English and click this install Ubuntu. Then for the keyboard layout, I just need to choose here. I'll just select English US, then click continue. Now this here you need to choose to if you want to the normal installation. If you choose the normal installation, it will install the web browsers, utilities, office software, games, and video players. But if you select minimum installation, the one that will be installed are only web browser and basic utilities. Also, if you want to download updates while installing the Ubuntu, just click this. Also, this if you want to install the third party. But me, I don't want to download the updates, and I'll choose the minimal installation for faster installation. Then click continue. Then just click this erase disk and install Ubuntu. Then just click continue. Here you need to choose what's your location right now. Right now I'm here in the Philippines, so just click continue. Then you need to fill up this form. So for your name, I'll name it group 7. The computer name is group 7. Group 7. Then for the username, also group 7. The password will be group 7 Ubuntu. Group 7. Then it's up to you if you want to log in automatically or require password. I'll require a password, then click continue. Then after that, this will show up. This part might take a while, might take some time, so you need to wait. Now the installation is done. You need to restart the virtual machine or the computer. Click restart now. Now once you see this, you need to press enter. Now here you need to click your created account. Then you need to enter the password you created. Here if you want to connect your account, but I'll skip. Then just click next. It's up to you if you want to send or no. Then click next. And it's up to you if you want to open your location service. Here are the apps that you can install, but I don't want to install something, so just click that. Then that's all. It's the installation of Ubuntu in VirtualBox. That's all. Thank you.